Yo, what is up, YouTube? It's your boy Legend, and I am back with another video. You already know what this is just by looking at the thumbnail. What if Naruto was the strongest soul reaper? If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe while you're at it. The like goal for today's video is going to be 5 likes, so hit that like button. But without further ado, let's just get into this intro so we can start this. What if?
挽回
これが私の残白刀の真の力だ。
Alright guys, quick recap on what happened in the last episode before we actually start. Basically, all that happened was Naruto got placed into Squad 8 with Shunsui, and Yoruichi left the Soul Society. That's basically all that happened in the previous episode. The training grounds of Squad 2 were deathly quiet, except for the soft crackle of broken wood. Splinters littered the field, and training dummies lay in ruins, their cloth and straw bodies torn to shreds. Soifan stood in the middle of it all, trembling with barely restrained emotion. Her small fists were clenched at her sides, and though her face was stoic, Naruto could see the way her body shook, the way her breathing hitched. She didn't say anything right away. Instead, he walked towards her with slow, steady steps. When he reached her, Naruto knelt down beside her without a word and opened his arms. At first, she didn't move. Then, like a dam breaking, Soifan collapsed against him, burying her face into his chest. Her hands fisted the fabric of his jacket as her body shuddered with silent sobs. Naruto wrapped his arms around her, firm but gentle, offering the support she refused to ask for but desperately needed. He held her for a long moment, letting her cry. Only when her breathing began to slow did he speak, his voice low and calm. "I know what it feels like to lose someone," he said quietly. "Someone you thought would always be there." Soifan's grip on him tightened, but she didn't look up. Naruto rested his chin lightly against the top of her head. "There was someone important to me, a friend. His name was Sasuke." The name tasted bittersweet on his tongue. "He was my brother in everything but blood, but he was hurting more than any of us realized. One day, he made a choice. He left our village, left all of us behind, to chase power, to chase revenge." Naruto's hands gently rubbed small circles into Soifan's back as he spoke, grounding both of them. "I couldn't accept that. I chased after him, fought him with everything I had. I thought if I just hit him hard enough, yelled loud enough, he'd come back." A bitter chuckle escaped him. "I lost that fight. I wasn't strong enough, and he left anyway." Soifan shifted slightly, listening intently to every word. "I trained for years after that," Naruto continued, his voice soft but fierce. "Pushed myself past every limit, not because I hated him, but because I loved him, because I believed he was still worth saving." He took a slow breath, and when the time finally came, we fought again, harder, bloodier, but I didn't let go this time. I dragged him back, kicking and screaming, if I had to. Naruto smiled sadly. "It wasn't easy. It took a long time to rebuild what we lost, but I never gave up, and now he's back where he belongs." Soifan finally looked up at him, her golden eyes glistening with unshed tears. "You're not alone in how you feel," Naruto said softly. "Loss hurts, but it doesn't have to break you." For a moment, they simply sat there, the dying light of the evening wrapping around them like a blanket. Slowly, Soifan leaned in, again resting her forehead against his chest, not in weakness, but in quiet gratitude, and Naruto held her, patient and steady, as the stars began to blink into existence overhead. Later that night, after ensuring Soifan was safely back at her quarters, Naruto found himself wandering near Squad 4's gardens. He didn't make it far before a familiar voice called out, "Naruto?" He turned to find Unohana standing there, serene as ever beneath the moonlight. "Captain Unohana," he greeted, smiling. "You need something?" She offered a soft smile. "Only your company. I thought you might like to walk in the gardens. It's good to rest your mind before tomorrow's training." Naruto chuckled. "You're not going to trick me into some weird Squad 4 torture training, are you?" Unohana laughed, a quiet, melodious sound that sent a strange shiver down his spine. "No," she said, her eyes glinting mischievously. "Tonight, I promise to be gentle." Naruto blinked, but before he could respond, she was already turning around and walking away, clearly expecting him to follow. He hurried after her, scratching the back of his head with a sheepish grin. The gardens were even more beautiful than he remembered, moonlight bathing the flowers in silver, the koi pond reflecting the stars, soft petals drifting lazily through the air, carried by a gentle breeze. They strolled side by side in easy silence for a while, the peaceful atmosphere washing over them. But Naruto soon noticed Unohana sneaking little glances at him, her lips curved ever so slightly in amusement. "You keep looking at me like that," Naruto teased. "I'm gonna start thinking you have a crush on me." Unohana chuckled softly. "And if I did?" Naruto smirked. "Well, I guess I'd be flattered. You're not exactly hard on the eyes, you know?" She turned to face him fully, her gaze sharp and playful. "You're surprisingly bold, Naruto-kun." He shrugged, grinning. "You did say you liked strong men. Just thought I'd make sure you noticed." Unohana stepped closer, close enough that he could smell the scent of her perfume, something clean and subtly floral. "Oh, I noticed," she murmured, tilting her head. "And you are very hard to ignore." Naruto's heart hammered against his ribs, but he forced a confident grin. "I could say the same about you," he said, his voice dropping slightly. "You're like dangerous beauty, wrapped up in a pretty smile." Unohana laughed, a low, sultry sound that made his skin prickle. "And here I thought you were supposed to be innocent," she teased, her voice dripping with amusement. "Innocent's boring," Naruto said, stepping just a little closer. "Besides, you seem like the type who enjoys a little danger." Their faces were inches apart now, the air between them charged and heavy. Naruto leaned in slightly, his voice dropping to a husky murmur. "Maybe," he said, his eyes locked on hers. "Maybe you like the idea of taming something wild. Or maybe," his smile turned roguish, "you're just looking for someone who can keep up." For a heartbeat, Unohana's serene mask cracked, her pupils dilating slightly, a spark of heat flickering behind her calm expression. But just as Naruto opened his mouth to tease her further, Unohana lifted a delicate finger and pressed it lightly to his lips. "Careful," she whispered, her voice dangerously soft. "You're playing with fire, and I bite." Naruto froze, wide-eyed, as a fierce blush lit up his cheeks, burning hotter than any fire jutsu he'd ever used. Unohana lowered her hand slowly, her touch lingering against his jawline for just a second longer than necessary. Then, as if nothing had happened, she turned and continued walking, her movements graceful, every step exuding quiet confidence. Naruto stood there for a second, stunned, before hurrying after her, his heart pounding in his ears. The rest of the evening passed in a comfortable haze of quiet teasing and secret glances. They talked about small things, about life outside the battlefield, but under every word was a steady undercurrent of growing tension, something sweet and dangerous building between them. And as the night deepened, Naruto found himself wondering if maybe, just maybe, some fires were worth playing with. 8 years later, 2 years in a living world. The air of Soul Society was crisp, touched by the cool breath of the early evening, cherry blossoms drifted lazily through the sky. The pale pink petals, a soft contrast against the towering white walls and deep blues of the heavens above. In the courtyard of Squad 4, Naruto sat on the edge of the koi pond, tossing small pebbles into the water with idle flicks of his fingers. The ripples spread slowly, reflecting the soft golden light of sunset. He had changed over the years, stronger, wiser, but there was still a boyish charm about him that refused to fade no matter how many battles he fought or how many scars he earned. That perhaps was what Unohana found so endlessly fascinating. Footsteps approached, light, purposeful, unmistakable. Naruto didn't have time to turn around before she was beside him, a wisp of calming presence wrapped in dangerous beauty. Lost that thought again, Naruto-kun. Unohana's voice was warm, almost purring. He grinned up at her, a little bashful. Just thinking, about life stuff. Unohana knelt beside him gracefully, close enough that he could feel the brush of her sleeve against his hand. The scent of her clean floral with a dangerous undertone he couldn't place wrapped around him like a trap he was too stupid to avoid. Before he could blink, Unohana leaned in and with the swiftness of a striking snake stole a kiss from the corner of his mouth. Naruto stiffened like a struck drum. His brain short-circuited, mouth opening and closing uselessly like a goldfish as his face turned a deep, vibrant shade of red. Unohana chuckled, a rich, velvety sound that sent another shiver down his spine. She touched two fingers lightly to her lips, as if tasting the moment, and gave him a look so filled with amusement it was practically criminal. "You're even more innocent than I thought," she teased, her voice like silk sliding over steel. I'm not innocent," Naruto protested weakly, still reeling. I fought wars. I faced monsters. "And yet," Unohana murmured, leaning in dangerously close again, "one little kiss and you freeze up like a frightened rabbit." Naruto shifted, embarrassed, and a little wary. Dealing with Unohana was like tiptoeing along the edge of a blade. Beautiful, exhilarating, terrifying. Still, as she laughed softly and stole another quick kiss, this time right on the tip of his nose, Naruto realized something even scarier. Part of him was starting to like it. A lot. As Unohana straightened up, amused by his dazed expression, Naruto's mind raced with thoughts he couldn't quiet. He liked her, there was no denying it. Liked her in a way that went deeper than the casual teasing or stolen kisses. But what were they exactly? Were they just friends fooling around in their own dangerous little dance? Was this some kind of twisted senior and underling relationship where the senior got to toy with the junior for fun? Were they dating without saying it aloud? Or was he just a plaything to her? Friends with benefits, maybe? The uncertainty gnawed at him like a slow, painful splinter buried deep under the skin. He didn't dare ask her, didn't even know how to act without sounding desperate or pathetic. But the weight of it sat heavy in his chest as he watched her, serene and unreadable as always, humming softly to herself as if she hadn't just turned his whole world upside down with a simple kiss. Naruto smiled weakly, tossing another pebble into his pond. He would figure it out eventually. He had to, because if he didn't, he wasn't sure how much longer he could stand not knowing. In the living world, Karakura Town. The sun blazed over Karakura Town, casting sharp shadows over the cracked sidewalks and faded storefronts. Somewhere near the back alleys, the heavy thuds of fists meeting flesh broke the sleepy afternoon quiet. Ichigo Kurosaki stood tall, His fist still raised as 5 bullies groaned and writhed on the ground around him. His orange hair gleamed under the harsh light, spiked up wildly, as if defying the world itself. His brown eyes were hard, focused, not on the beaten thugs, but on the towering figure standing protectively behind him. Yatsuro Sato, known to most simply as Chad, watched with quiet amazement. He was big, strong enough to flatten any normal opponent without breaking a sweat, but he'd never been the type to pick fights. And yet, here was this smaller boy, fists trembling slightly from the punches he'd thrown, standing between him and danger. Like it was the most natural thing in the world. "You okay?" Ichigo asked, turning his head slightly but keeping an eye on the downed bullies. Chad nodded once, his deep voice low and serious. "I'm fine, thank you." Ichigo snorted, wiping a bit of blood off of his knuckles with the sleeve of his school uniform. "Don't worry about it. I hate jerks who pick on people who won't fight back." He turned fully toward Chad, then offering a hand. Casual, unafraid. Chad looked at it for a moment, then took it in a firm, grateful shake. That was the beginning, the first threads of a bond that would only grow stronger with time. 2 boys thrown together by circumstances and violence, finding in each other something solid, something trustworthy. And neither of them would know, not yet, how much they would come to rely on that bond in the battles to come. In the Soul Society, it bustled quietly under the warm light of the late afternoon, and at a cozy open-air food bar near the Squad 2 barracks, Naruto and Soifan sat at a small wooden table. The place was simple, hanging paper lanterns, freshly grilled fish, and rice balls served with chilled tea. The scents of soy sauce and roasting meat hung heavy in the air, mixing with the fresh scent of rain-kissed stone from the passing drizzle. Soifan looked different here, more relaxed. Her hair was still in its tight braids. Her captain's cloak draped neatly over her shoulders, but her face was softer. Her eyes, normally so sharp and guarded, now gleamed with a quiet sort of contentment as she sipped her tea. Naruto, sitting across from her, today wore casual black kimono with orange trim, a nod to his old colors, and was mid-story, gesturing animatedly with his chopsticks. So then, he said, grinning, "The paperwork just kept piling up. Every time I thought I finished it, there was another huge stack. Being Hokage was basically just glorified babysitting." Soifan chuckled, a rare, light sound that made Naruto beam with pride. "I never pictured you as a politician," she admitted. "I wasn't." Naruto laughed. "I was a terrible politician. I just tried to protect everyone. That's all I ever wanted." He smiled fondly at the memory. Bittersweet. "I miss them sometimes," he confessed quietly, his gaze dropping to his tea. Kakashi Sensei, Aruka, Tsunade Bachan, my friends, my village. Soifan reached across the table, her hand brushing lightly over his. Brief, unspoken comfort. "You're protecting people here now," she said simply. "Maybe that's what you were always meant to do." Naruto looked up at her, warmth flooding his chest. Before he could respond, a shadow fell over the table. "Ah, Naruto-san," a smooth, velvety voice said. Both Naruto and Soifan turned to find Captain Aizen standing there, dressed immaculately as always, his smile gentle and composed. "I hope I'm not interrupting," Aizen said, with a slight bow to his head, so perfectly polite it was almost insulting. "Captain Aizen," Soifan said coolly, her tone flattening instantly. Naruto forced a smile, rubbing the back of his neck. Hey, Captain. No, you're not really. I mean, I was wondering. Aizen continued smoothly. If I might borrow Naruto-san for a small favor. Some of my squad's younger officers are struggling with their hand-to-hand coordination. Given your reputation, I thought you might demonstrate a few techniques. He gave a soft, apologetic laugh. I would, of course, be very grateful. Naruto glanced at Soifan, who shrugged stiffly, though her mouth was a thin, displeased line. I don't want to pull you away from your evening, Aizen added, eyes twinkling with carefully hidden amusement. But I assure you, it will not take long. Naruto scratched his cheek, feeling the awkward tension thick in the air. Yeah, sure, I guess, he said, standing slowly. It's no big deal. Aizen smiled wider, his posture relaxed and disarming. Thank you. I knew I could count on you. With a courteous nod to Soifan, he turned, gesturing for Naruto to follow him. Naruto gave Soifan an apologetic look, mouthing sorry before trotting after the captain. Soifan watched him go, her tea cooling rapidly on the table. Aizen's plan had been flawless. No overt manipulation, no orders barked, just a simple request, polite and inarguable, wrapped in the pristine image of a considerate superior. And just like that, the evening Soifan had quietly anticipated all week was ruined. Her golden eyes narrowed slightly as she sipped her tea, cooling her temper. This wasn't over, not by a long shot. Naruto strode down the polished hallways of Squad 5's barracks, humming lightly to himself. Aizen had requested him to help earlier with a simple Kido demonstration for the squad, and Naruto, always willing to lend a hand, had agreed with some hesitation. The demonstration itself had gone smoothly, or so Naruto thought. After a brief spar of Kido techniques, Aizen praised Naruto with his calm, almost too gentle smile of his, and Naruto had left feeling strangely off. As he made his way back towards his own division, Naruto casually reached back, fingers brushing against the hilt of his Zanpakuto, Kurama. The moment his skin connected with the blade, a sharp ripple of energy surged through his body. His bright blue eyes narrowed instantly. He stopped in the middle of the hallway as the world around him seemed to shift unnaturally. Without hesitation, Naruto closed his eyes and allowed himself to sink inward, falling into the familiar landscape of his Zanpakuto world. The surroundings materialized. A shattered moon overhead, gnarled trees twisting around cracked stone, and standing tall in the middle of all of it was Kurama. Kurama, whose appearance mirrored an older Sasuke, salt and pepper beard, sharp features, eyes that burned with ageless wisdom, leaned casually against a stone, arms crossed. You notice fast, Kurama rumbled approvingly. His voice was like gravel sliding over steel. I felt something off, Naruto said, stepping closer, sharp and on guard. What the hell was that? I don't remember helping Aizen with the Kido lesson. Not really. Kurama's lips curled into a grim smile. That's because you didn't. You were under an illusion, kid. A damn strong one. Naruto's heart skipped. Illusion? His Zanpakuto. He asked, voice slow. Kurama nodded once. Kyoka Suigetsu complete hypnosis. He manipulates all 5 senses. What you see, hear, feel, even smell. If you fall for it once, it's almost impossible to notice you're under. Naruto's mind raced. Why would Aizen put him under an illusion? What was the point of such subtlety if he could simply defeat him outright if needed? We're missing something. Reading Naruto's inner turmoil, whatever he's planning is big. He's prepping the board, and we're just pieces. Naruto exhaled sharply through his nose. Like hell, I'm letting him play with me. Kurama smirked, pushing off the stone. Stay sharp, kid. Your instinct saved you this time. Trust them. Naruto nodded, feeling the heavy weight of responsibility settle onto his shoulders. His vision blurred and he snapped back into reality, standing once more in the halls of Squad 5. Without wasting a second, Naruto turned his heel and sped off towards Squad 2's barracks. Squad 2's barracks were as quiet and tightly organized as always, the perfect image of discipline. Naruto wasted no time weaving through the outer courts until he spotted Soifan standing atop a raised platform issuing commands to her subordinates. Naruto landed beside her with a small thud, smirking at the brief flare of surprise in her eyes. Naruto? Soifan greeted tersely, glancing sideways at him. What do you want? I need your help with something, Naruto said, flashing a charming, mischievous grin. Real quick. Promise. Soifan scowled. I'm busy. 5 seconds. He insisted, already sliding his Zanpakuto free by a few inches. The blade was noticeably shorter than a typical one, only about 2.5 feet in total, but it pulsed with a heavy, living energy. Touch the hilt, Naruto said casually, offering it out. Soifan shot him a look like he had grown a second head. Why would I just humor me? Naruto said, voice unusually serious beneath the grin. Soifan, suspicious but confident in her own skills, relented and brushed 2 fingers against Kurama's hilt. Instantly, a shock ran through her, and she gasped sharply, staggering back a step. Her pupils dilated, and her body tensed, instinctively reaching for her own weapon before she stopped herself. What the fuck? She breathed, staring at Naruto with wide eyes. Yeah, Naruto said grimly. Aizen put you under too. Soifan's hand twitched. I'll kill him. No, Naruto said firmly, stepping into her space. Don't confront him. Don't let him know you're free of it. Act like you're still trapped, and whatever you do, do not look at his Zanpakuto again unless absolutely necessary. Soifan clenched her jaw, but gave a stiff nod. Naruto's grin returned, mischievous and full of life before Soifan could react. He reached out and ruffled her meticulously styled hair, sending black strands flying in wild directions. You bastard! Soifan shouted, swiping at him with a snarl as Naruto darted away, laughing over his shoulder. Her furious cursing echoed through the barracks as he vanished. Naruto moved with a focused determination through the Soul Society, searching for his next targets, Unohana and Byakuya. It took some time, but eventually he spotted them strolling leisurely through a quiet training field, deep in conversation. Perfect. Naruto blurred forward, his image splitting briefly before reappearing just a few feet in front of the 2 captains. Byakuya's hand reflexively hovered over Senbon Sakura, and Unohana's eyes twinkled with silent amusement at the sudden entrance. Naruto, Byakuya said, voice calm but laced with an underlying edge. I need a word, Naruto said quickly. Privately. The 2 exchanged a glance but nodded, following him to a secluded corner behind the training grounds. shielding from prying eyes. Naruto drew Kurama fully, a short blade gleaming faintly in the muted light. "Touch it," he said simply, urgency flashing through his blue eyes. Byakuya narrowed his gaze, suspicious. Unohana, ever unbothered, stepped forward first and lightly touched the hilt. Her reaction was immediately. Her pupils dilated, and her hand froze mid-air. A heartbeat later, Byakuya followed, and his composure slipped just slightly, tension creeping into his flaring. "You feel it?" Naruto said, sheathing Kurama again. Byakuya's lips thinned into a hard line. His mind raced. Aizen and rage simmered quickly beneath his aristocratic exterior. Unohana, more composed, tilted her head thoughtfully. An illusion of this scale. On multiple captains. Why? "He's setting the board," Naruto said quietly. "But we don't know how or for what." Byakuya eyed Kurama with interest. "Your Zanpakuto. It dispels illusions." Naruto chuckled softly, rubbing the back of his neck. "Something like that. Kurama and I, we go way back. Before I ever came here, he was with me, in the form of a giant nine-tailed fox that could destroy mountains with just a wave of his tail." Byakuya blinked once, processing that, while Unohana's smile deepened, something warm and knowing flickering in her eyes. Naruto shrugged. "That fox was sealed in me until I died and ended up here. I guess it makes us a little different." The two captains absorbed his words in silence. "Don't tell anyone," Naruto continued. "Don't confront Aizen. Just act normal. It's safer that way." Byakuya nodded gravely. Understood. Naruto turned to leave, feeling the weight of their gazes on his back. He had taken just 2 steps when he was yanked backward by his collar. "What?" He barely had time to process before Unohana pulled him in and kissed him, full on the mouth. Naruto froze, eyes wide as saucers, completely blindsided. Unohana's kiss was firm, searing, and full of something he couldn't immediately place. Teasing affection, challenge, maybe a hint of something darker. When she pulled away, a faint smirk tugged at the corner of her lips. "You should be more careful, Naruto," she purred, voice dripping with amusement. "You might break more than just illusions." Byakuya arched an eyebrow at the display, the faintest glimmer of disapproval crossing his face, though he said nothing as he and Unohana turned and walked away, leaving Naruto standing there like a statue. Naruto blinked, still stunned, trying to reboot his brain. A soft cough drew his attention, and he turned to see Nanao standing nearby, arms folded neatly, her sharp eyes faintly amused behind her glasses. "Naruto?" she said lightly. "You do realize that relationships between captains and juniors are frowned upon, correct?" Naruto flushed, still utterly dumbfounded, and especially with Unohana Taicho. Nanao eyed it, her voice lowering slightly. "There's a side to her you don't even know about yet. Be careful." Naruto nodded dumbly, still reeling from the kiss, barely processing the words. Nanao gave him a small, knowing smile and walked off, leaving Naruto standing there in the quiet, wondering what the hell just happened and what the hell had he gotten himself into. But guys, I'm going to end it off right there. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe while you're at it. Remember, the like goal for this video is 5 likes. So if you want more of this and you want it fast, get this to 5 likes or more, and you'll get it real fast. But without further ado, I am out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Stay blessed, y'all.